Hello, dear friends. I want to invite us all to exit 2025 weird, in a weird way, and enter 2026 in a weird way. Now, why would I say such a weird thing? Many years ago, I wrote an article about the meaning of weird, and it's an old English term and it's spelled Wyrd, weird, and it's pronounced like we spell it here with Weird. So the true meaning of weird is basically fate or destiny or what is meant to come or what is meant to be. And it's an interesting word, really, because when most people think about weird, then it's like freaky, right? It's like very different than others, and there is usually a judgment around it, and usually not a good one. So that's why many of us have been afraid to be weird because we will be judged for it. And consequently, we have been trying to fit into a life and a society and a family and friends where we truly don't belong because it is not our fate. It is not our destiny to be like others. And the world we live in, we have been programmed and squeezed into these boxes where we are the same, we are like others. And if one stands out of that gray mass of sameness, we will be called weird or wrong or bad or all of these things just so we can be pulled back into the crowd, into the gray mass of sameness, of absolute lack of being creative from within. We might be creative in certain ways, of course, but it's the creativity of being fully ourselves. And that's very, very creative once we get in touch with it. Now, because we have lived in this box, this gray mass of sameness, many of us have lost touch with our true creativity. That doesn't mean you have to become a painter or an artist or a dancer or something like that. It could just literally be in the unique and weird way that is your destiny. It is your fate. That is why you came here, is to be fully yourself. And you might be a painter, you might be doing things that are something you can show to others. It may just be in your very quiet, unique way of living, where you are not following the masses. You're not trying to be a sheep and be like everybody else. You're just doing it your way. You're eating your way. You are walking your way. You are working your way. You are resting your way. You're simply doing you in your way. That's what I mean by let's enter 2026 in our own weird way, in our own unique way that is our fate and our destiny, and that we literally came here to be and to express and to live. And as we are entering into the new year, which is the year of new beginnings, why not start as the new beginning of being fully and completely yourself? Be different, stand out, or don't stand out. Be invisible because that is the unique you. Most of us don't really know anymore who we are when we are truly ourselves because we have not practiced that. We have not been allowed to be that. I'm sure we have been told when we were little, to do as I say. Your dad, that was my dad, do as I tell you. So I never really got to express my unique pernilla-ness. And at the same time, I always feel I have been weird. I have never been like other people, and I didn't quite understand it. When we have that energy that is unique, that is ourselves, then we are kind of in touch with it. There is a fear that there is something wrong with us because we don't fit in. We are not acting, looking, being, thinking like others. And there's an automatic judgment that says there's something wrong with me that creates an anxiety, a fear, um, a contraction, we're holding ourselves back. And my goodness, have I done that a lot. It's been hard. People may not have noticed I was holding myself back because my energy has been kind of always maybe bigger. And so I had a lot to hold back, holding back this big energy that wanted to come out as me. And you can see if you can relate to that. So there is a way we can start getting out of that holding ourselves back is by just practicing it with people that we feel safe with. And that's what I did. Actually, when I took my Hakomi training, I'm a certified Hakomi therapist. Um, when I was going through that training, I started that in the late 90s. There was just this absolute permission to be ourselves. So when we were working on each other and practicing on each other, these new skills we were learning, the therapist would, of course, invite our true selves out. So when something came up and it might feel weird or it might be different, there was always a welcoming of it so that us as a client, we could start feeling how different it is when somebody is saying yes and welcoming our true self, our weird self, our unique self, or the fate, our basically the destiny. Then we could start feeling a whole new way of being instead of feeling this, I can't be myself. It's been a huge part of my life. I always felt like, you know, and it's awful. So then when you start feeling like, yes, oh wow, oh yeah, that's you. So there was an absolute welcoming of who I truly am. And the same with all the students, as we're working with each other. And then, of course, my clients now, and any client of a Hakomi therapist, and probably most therapists anyway. But there was a specific flavor in the Hakomi where there was just this really seeing the true self and the connection between the body and the mind, and how these beliefs were just holding us contracted. And when you started following the natural unfolding and started trusting the natural unfolding of our soul, of our being, of our fate, right, our destiny, which has been kind of crumbled up inside and was afraid to come out. So when somebody's out there saying, yeah, come on out. Yeah, wow, look at you, then we can start coming out more, and then the natural unfolding of our destiny can start manifest. And for so many of us light workers, I think we very much fall into that category of being perceived as weird, the the wrong way of perceiving what weird really is. Basically, weird in many people's projections means wrong, and that is actually wrong. That's wrong. It's not wrong to be weird. It is beautiful to be weird when we really realize that this is our true destiny, a real natural unfolding from the inside out. So I want to see if we can support each other in taking that step or that leap into the new year, where we simply show up more and more and be surrounded by people who welcome that in us, who don't make us wrong for being different. And of course I shared it because it's been such a big part of my own life, and it's just so liberating that my circle of friends, they know that I am how I am, and it's accepted. I can still feel people you know like, because I'm very outspoken, I have learned to speak my experiences from a more um, present state instead of with the emotions, and just so I can be fully present when I speak with somebody. But I have a natural curiosity when somebody shares something with me. I naturally want to know more about what it means or how that is for them. And that's just, I have a natural curiosity like that, both in myself and with others. Not everybody is like that, but I am. That is my fate. That is my destiny, to walk around with a curious, open heart, really wanting to know more about people, about their depth, their deeper experiences, and not just stay here on the surface level, which is not my destiny. It just isn't. And I have very, very little interest in it unless I can find a little door in that superficial that I can help open so we can actually go a little deeper. So I feel more connected in our conversation. But that's just one example of the weirdness, the destiny, the fate of Pranilla. And you may have your own. And of course, if that's something you are still unfamiliar with and would like to explore, please reach out and set up a self-discovery session with me so we can explore that and help your destiny, your weirdness to start shining, because that is what I have talked about and still see very much as the new earth, as we're moving into that. Again, not like in 2026, we're going to go into the new earth. No. 2026, after we've leaving 2025, which has been a very intense year of cleaning out, of purging, letting go of old patterns and beliefs and feelings and whatnot. So now the opportunity is the energies are more allowing of us to realize who we truly are and how we manifest and express in this world. So as we're moving into 2026, just as a continuation of 2025, because there is not some kind of a door here we walk through. Okay, now we are moving into the next year. Okay, sorry, my cat again. Hold on, hold on. Yes, you want to come? Come. He always wants to come in just as I'm doing my video. You can come up here, baby. Come. See, he's himself, right? He's himself, and I totally welcome that about him. It's probably easier with animals than it is with humans because they're just so innocent and so pure. But let's see if I lost my train of thought here. Yeah. So as we're moving into 2026, just as a simply a continuum, right? There's no door we walk through, but energetically, it's been clearing so much that we have more access to our uniqueness, to our weirdness, to our destination, which is to be ourselves, to be our divine, beautiful expression, without all that gunk around it that keeps thinking we're wrong, we couldn't do it, people won't like me if I do that, yada, 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 right? That's all the stuff that we carry with us all the time, and it blocks our destiny. So why don't we right now make a commitment to get in touch with our destiny Our destiny is the divine, our divine essence, our true being. That's where we are going. If there is a where, that's where we're going. And there's nowhere to go. It's just realizing that we already are here. It's just that we get distracted and confused by this static of that there's something wrong with us, that we can't do it, we're not worthy, all that stuff, right? With all its flavors. That's what's been getting in the way. So it's not like this big unknown thing, that gets in our way. It's just these hypnotic suggestions that are just, pumping at us all the time. And the more we practice to not engage with them on a very conscious, clear way, in a very conscious, clear way, where you say, no, no more. I'm going here now. And now you're going here for your true destiny, and that is your weirdness. If you want to connect it with how Wyrd has been perceived, somebody out there with, pink and green hair and tons of makeup and bizarre clothes, maybe, or, something where people, something we say that's weird, right? Because they really stand out with their colors and their shapes and their forms. That's not what we're talking about, unless that is natural for you, where it really comes from a place like, gosh, when I am like this, I feel totally myself. And that's it. Be your Wyrd. Be your Wyrd in whatever way it looks. But when you feel it in yourself, there's a sense of peace, a sense of grounding, a sense of resting and leaning back. And it literally can be anything. Another way I may be weird to a lot of people, if I'm here to expose all my weirdness today, is that I love being on my own. If I'm going somewhere, if I'm invited somewhere, if I don't feel like a really clear yes, and I choose to not go, I feel this deep relief, like, oh my God, I can just stay home and be quiet and I don't have to talk a lot. So we have to really find what it is in us that resonates, where we feel a sense of yes and a sense of peace. That's when we are in our weirdness, in our fate, our destiny, and what is meant to be. So please join me in that as we keep moving forward, whether it's 2025 or 2026. These are just numbers, because the present moment is always here, and we always have access to that. And I think, for me at least, I feel grateful that it's getting easier and easier to go there and to stay there and to just walk around and be that, no matter what happens around me. It's a very, very big gift for me to where it's just becoming more and more natural to just rest in that and not feel weird in the weird way, uh, that I shouldn't be that. I should be like others. It's like, no, it's actually not true. I can just be this because this is my destiny. So, friends, join me on that. You're always welcome also to join me on the first Tuesday of every month. This will be January 6th, where I offer an online gathering called Feel Your Deepest Longing, Find Your Spiritual Calling. And it's very much about similar to what I've been talking about, right? The calling is basically our destiny, and we need to get in touch with that. Wishing you love and blessings, and I'll see you again soon.